if I'd have told you a year ago, listen, Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, their offense is way better than Sean McVay and Goff, you'd have said, what? If I told you a year ago, Patrick Mahomes, he can't even win at home, you'd be like, what? If I said Drew Brees is going to get hurt and the Saints don't miss a beat, you'd be like, what? Cam Newton's out for probably the year, and Carolina, with a guy who couldn't start in college, is unbeatable. What? Philadelphia destroyed maybe the best roster in the NFL against Kirk Cousins. He looked like Brett Favre. What? This is called the NFL. So Dallas this morning, everybody's freaking out. Okay, so let's figure this out. Both their offensive tackles were hurt. Amari Cooper was hurt. Byron Jones got hurt. And Sam Darnold comes back at home. They unveiled what appears to be a playbook they only use for Sam Darnold. And the Cowboys lose 24-22 with a chance, as always with Dak, you're in the game in the last 2 minutes of the game, and they lose on the road. Yeah, that's called the NFL. It is really easy to lose in this league. Listen, even winning, even for the Patriots, it can be hard. It's hard for Andy Reid. It's hard for Mahomes. Losing in this league is really easy. It is really easy. What did Dallas do that shocked you? Well, Dak really struggled without all his parts. What, that's breaking news? Is that the head of the New York Times this morning? Dak struggles without all his parts. Well, Colin, a quarterback that had a flak jacket on that spent the last 3 weeks in a hospital came out and outdueled him. Yeah, Sam Darnold was a first-round pick and has a much higher ceiling. Sam Darnold is a better quarterback talent than Dak. That surprised you? Did you watch Darnold? Did you? Okay, here's the thing if you're Dallas today that would be concerning. You look flat. Offensively, you look a little stale. It doesn't feel like, Jason Garrett, who's never been a big energy guy, is more the academic. He's not the Ivy, he's not the rah, run through a wall guy. And the team looks really, really flat. But time out here. Do not overreact. Dak Prescott on the road was 10 for 17 on third down. That Jets defense is not terrible. Greg Williams is a very good. They have good safeties, good linebackers, good pass rush. By the way, they had 270 yards passing, 130 rushing, and had the ball for 32 minutes. Don't go crazy here. Now, I will say this. They look flat. Last 3 weeks, can't score a first-half touchdown. I do not think this is an offense built to play from behind. I think it's an offense that should come out scripted, give Dak a lead, and give the ball to Zeke, play downhill, and let those pass rushers the Cowboys have unleash a little bit. That's the formula for me. Get a lead, run downhill, and let Dak throw on play action. Not down 14 late, have to catch up. But don't overreact. You beat Philadelphia at home on Sunday. You're in first place. You were 3-5 last year. It is a week-to-week league. 3 words in the NFL solve every problem. Just win Sunday. Win Sunday, it's all good. Had the Browns won yesterday? Mardi Gras. They lost, they're freaking out. Well, you got a bye week. Go play New England. So now I also hear this, and I think it's a fair criticism. Colin, you said last week that every time Dallas loses, they sort of lose the same way, which is my argument, which is when they lose, it's because the offense is a pop gun. It's a dink and dak. They can't dynamic, forget it. Over the top, no chance. Big plays, rarely. But can I also say this? Everybody that loses in this league loses the same way. Kansas City's now losing the same way. They can't stop the run. Whenever Houston loses, it's the same way. Deshaun Watson has no protection. Every time the Rams lose now, it's the same way. They have no running game. It's totally dependent on the passing game. Every time Philadelphia loses, don't we always say this? God, their secondary's terrible. Everybody in this league loses generally the same way. Now, Miami is losing the same way, too. They just don't have the offensive personnel to score points. So Dallas is not unique. The teams that lose in this league generally lose because they have a personnel deficiency at one spot. And in Dallas's case, the concern is it's not a personnel deficiency, because I still think Dak's a franchise quarterback. Is it a coaching deficiency? Do they need energy? Do they need a spark? Do they need a new life? That's a very fair criticism. They can't score in the first half, last 3 games. But you can't tell me they don't win games against good teams. I saw them beat the Saints last year. I've seen them beat Philadelphia. You can't tell me they don't beat good teams. They do beat good teams. Now, they're better against bad teams, but again, so is the league. Just win Sunday, and you're in first place. Cleveland had an opportunity yesterday and butchered it with 4 turnovers and a punt blocked. So let me seg to Cleveland. So isn't it funny? Fans locally, I hear this a lot from local fans. You don't even watch our games. You don't know us. You don't even watch our games. First of all, I watch every NFL game. I even watched Tennessee-Denver yesterday. It was awful. Just a heads up. Isn't it funny that fans locally, generally, especially like in baseball where there's 162 regular season games, you do see your team more than we see your team. But the truth about the Cleveland Browns is everybody was right on them. Everybody. You, me, Joy, John, Greg, America. Everybody was right except Ohio. Because all of us called everything that's happening. Every one of you out there, didn't you say the same thing? Freddie Kitchens has never even been a coordinator. They could be over their head coaching. Well, at least situationally, that appears to be true. All of you out there said, do we know if Baker's great? He throws a lot of picks. He's not that tall. All of you out there said, clearly the offensive line is the weakness for the team. All of you out there thought, if you didn't say it, it's the youngest roster in the NFL. Young rosters generally don't win Super Bowls. Everybody had Cleveland right, except Cleveland. What's happening is not a shock. That if you simply looked at the schedule like you and I did, everybody said the same thing. You got to face Sean McVay in the first month, Pete Carroll in the first month, Kyle Shanahan in the first month, and Belichick mid-October. This will probably be a little bit of a rough start. Oh, by the way, 3 of your first 5 games are on national TV with the youngest roster in the NFL and a coach who's never been a coordinator and a quarterback who's had, 15 starts coming into the season. This was all incredibly predictable. None of this is shocking. It's not. We also all knew outside of Ohio that it was a very talented roster. Yesterday, Cleveland had a punt blocked, fumbled, and had 3 picks, and still had a chance to win with 3 minutes left. Cleveland was in that game yesterday. The average NFL team that has 3 picks, a fumble, and a punt block loses by 17 to 24 points. Cleveland didn't because Cleveland was the right side yesterday. That game was there for them. But young teams make mistakes, and young head coaches situationally get over their head. And Baker Mayfield, and here's the funny thing about Baker, is that not only was all of this predictable, it was predictable with Baker. There's 3 quarterbacks that I have been very critical of coming into the NFL for the same reason, judgment. I was very critical about Johnny Manziel's judgment. I said, don't draft him. He's out of the league. I was hypercritical about Jameis Winston's judgment. Did some really stupid stuff. I said he's talented. I worry about his judgment. Yesterday, 5 picks. That's the problem. And I was really concerned about Baker Mayfield's judgment. Police video, taunting. I said, I don't doubt his talent. His judgment worries me. Yesterday, Baker's judgment lost that game. 25 picks in 20 games. After the game, blaming the officials. That's my issue. Even Baker Mayfield is predictable. Do I think he's a franchise quarterback? Yes. Do I think he would be better with a veteran head coach? Yes. Do I think Baker has some real talent? Yes. But do I think he's too cocky, a little too small, and not a world-class athlete to be a number 1 pick in a draft? Yes. But the great thing about sports and why I love it is because smart people in Ohio, reasonable people that make rational decisions all day, everybody could see all of this coming. I don't think Cleveland's season's over. I think they have a chance to go 9-7. There's a lot of W's on the back end, but yesterday was a real problem because now New England, Buffalo are the 2 best defenses in the NFL coming up, and Baker against good defenses and good pass rushes, and New England and Buffalo will have both. He makes mistakes because I don't like his judgment. So this is, none of this is a shock. You got to buy. Keep quiet, head down, stop talking, get it right, cut back on mistakes, and go give New England, a team that is struggling to move the ball often because of injuries, a real game. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.